Guys, it's Paul from Smart Easy DIY. Welcome to episode 8 of building my pole barn house. Today I am putting PEX tubing in the floor for radiant heat when I'm ready to pour cement. Here's just a quick clip of my finished system so you get an idea what it looks like. And here's where I'm going to set up my manifold, where my PEX tubings are going to come in and out of the floor. Just to give you an idea, this is about 7 feet away from the outside wall, so I need a way to support it temporarily while I'm pouring the cement. So anyways, then I use these long sweep 90s here. They're 1 inch, and this is just to protect the PEX where it enters and exits the floor. So you can put the PEX tubing inside of it, has a little bit of extra room, and you'll kind of see when I set it up how I use them. I just kind of taped them together, just a way to hold them there until the cement is poured. So here is my open floor here when I'm getting ready to get started. I made this PEX tubing uncoiler, and I'll link to that in the video description below the video, how I made it. It's a very cheap build, easy to make yourself, and it really helps for doing this job because you can uncoil the PEX without getting any kinks and stuff, and otherwise they're really expensive to buy one. This is just such an easy way. You can see how well it works there as I'm uncoiling that. So here's my buddy and I, we're just building the temporary support for the manifold like I was talking about, for the PEX tubing to come in and out of the floor. Here's where I did my temporary rebar support, and I didn't know how big to make it, so I made it a little too big. I'm just going to adjust it when I'm done. So you can see here that I got a couple rows done. So I just zip tied them to the wire mesh there, and as I'm going along here, what I wanted to talk to you about a little bit as I'm coming over here, you can see that I'm right in the middle of this loop here, and it's going really well. Now the one thing that I wanted to talk to you about was, as you're coming along here, the guy that designed my radiant system, he recommended you go 18 inches for the first run on the outside there, and then you go 12 inches from then on, just kind of approximately. And it works out really well with this wire mesh because it's 6-inch spacing, so you can really do it very easily that way. So you can see I'm just doing the tubing along here, and like I said, this PEX uncoiler works really well for me. So I had a lot of fun doing it that way, and no kinks to worry about. And I just zip tied it every so far for now, and then I zip tied it heavier once I got done. So you can see some of my rows aren't perfectly straight, but they will be when I'm all done. So as you're coming over here to the manifold, where all my PEX lines are coming out, you can kind of see as I'm progressing here. So it's kind of a mess there, it looks like at the moment, but it'll get better. So I leave 12 feet sticking up out of there just so you have extra, because you can always cut it off when you're hooking it up to your pumps and all that, but it's not a good idea to splice it unless you just have to. So give yourself plenty of room. I would recommend tape the ends so you keep all the concrete out of it, keep it nice and clean. And up here on the ceiling is where I'm gonna zip tie them when I'm all done to hold them up out of the way for the pour. Now as I'm going along here, I just wanted to mention again about the first run being 18 inches from the outside and then 12 inches from then on. And the one thing I want to talk about too is as you're going along here, you want to run with your hottest water on the outside first, and then you come around, and if you're doing a bedroom and bathroom together, you want to do the bathroom first with the hottest water and then feed back and do the bedroom next. So here you can see quick on my radiant design, just to give you kind of an idea, direction of flow and how it works. And I wouldn't recommend going much more than 300 or 400 feet in a loop. The guy said no more than 500, the one that designed it. I do have a very efficient system the way I designed it, so you could do a little more than 3 to 4, but no more than 4 I would recommend. But anyway, so yeah, I would just say, whenever possible, do the bathroom first because you need more heat there than a bedroom typically. So then the water is cooled off more as it gets to the bedroom before it returns back to the manifold. So that's just kind of the way that I did it, the way that he recommended doing it. So then you just want to keep track of your footage on the roll. I use a 1,000-foot roll, and it has foot marks on it, and you want to make sure you can get back to the manifold before you run out. Now this here I just wanted to show you where I didn't do any PEX was where the food pantry is going to be, and a fridge, and perhaps a freezer, so we avoided heat in those areas. They'll get a little bit of heat from the floor, but not too much. So here, now that I got those suspended up there, I put a pressure gauge on there. I just got a pressure gauge and I put an air chuck on it. If you use the crimp style, you can just crimp that thing on there and plug the other ends of the lines, and then you can make sure to put 75 pounds of pressure on there when you're doing it and let it sit for 24 hours. That way you know that there's no leaks, and then you want to keep pressure in there when you're pouring. That way it'll show up if there's any leaks. So you might be wondering what these foam pieces are. The guy that was going to do the concrete, he wanted to cut relief lines in the concrete every 10 feet or so, but we decided not to because of the tubing underneath in chance of hitting it, and I'm glad we did that. We haven't had any problems with the concrete cracking at all. This isn't like when you're driving on it in a house like this, and if you do drive on it, that's a different story. You have to do rebar and stuff then, but for this case, we decided not to, but we went a little stronger in the mix. I went 4,000 PSI instead of 3,500. And I also put fiberglass mesh in for reinforcement, and we haven't had any problems at all. So this has worked out really good. So totally disregard these foam pieces. They're a waste of time and money. So anyway, just one last look here quick at the setup. You can see I taped those all together, zip tied them to the rebar. Once the concrete is poured, then I'll just cut that rebar off flush with the concrete, and we'll be all done with that. So yeah, just wanted to kind of show you what the finished thing looks like. Tomorrow morning we're gonna pour, and my pressure's been at 75, holding true, so we should be all set to pour. So, alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for future videos, and thanks a lot for watching.